jafeñ ci ñun lool lam jafeñ ci ñun moo tax ñu mel tey ñun nu ñu neex rek ñu melee noonu nañuy mel duñ xool ndax yàlla tere na ko wala yàlla bëgg na ko wala yàlla bëggul ko ñii nag ñoom ci muñ gii lañ nekkoon muñ nekk lu jafe waaye yàlla it digg ci pay gu rëy 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 muñ def li nga xamante ne moom la yàlla digle waaye muñ itam ba bàyyi yi nga xamante ne moom la yàlla tere moo tax na yàlla borom bi tabaraka wa taala wax yónnentam boobu ne ko wasbir nafsaka maha lasina yad'una rabbahum bil qadaati wal hasha na nga muñ na nga tàmmal sa bakkan bi muñ te nga ànd ak ñii nga xam ne fuñ toll ñu ngi ñaan seen borom bi tabaraka wa taala di tudd seen yàlla da tudd yàlla borom bi tabaraka wa taala ci suba ak ci ngoon dégg nga soo bayee ko ci muñ da nga fekk ne am na lu feeñ ci ñoom lu am solo mooy baril ñaan di ñaan yàlla lu bari gis nga jullit dafa war di ñaan yàlla ndax ñaan yàlla mooy jaamu yàlla kon jullit warta sàggane ñaan ndax jullit àdduna bile lañ fi soxla bari na te lañ fi soxla yëpp kooku mën a jox mooy yàlla borom bi tabaraka wa taala moo tax yàlla borom bi tabaraka wa taala wax na ko ci suratul kahfi ne yad'una rabbahum bil qadaati wal ashi comme ni ma ko waxee ci ay bi passé rek waaye itam ñu xamoon ixlaas sellal moo tax ci biir aaya bi da nga ko fekkee ñu yuriduuna waccahu wàccu man wàccu laay subhanahu wa taala waaye ñu amoon ci sabaat sax dëgër ci mbir mi nga nekk nga dëgër ci yàlla borom bi tabaraka wa taala bi tey wax ak ñoom wax ak yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam ne ko wala ta'du aynaaka anhum turidu sinatal hayati dunya sabat ñii nang leen xool gis leen lool mun a ànd ak ñoom wante bul topp mukk sa bëgg-bëgg ci taaru aduna ñii ñoo ñi nga xamante ne bañ nekkee ca daarul arqam ibnul arqam yii moo feeñoon ci ñoom ba tax ñu mel nañ mel su boobaa daarul arqam bi nga xamante ne yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam moo ko tànn lu tax mu tànn ko pour nekk fa ak ñii nga xam ne ñooy saxaaba yi borom xam-xam bi bindkat bi ne ay mbir la ndax tànn gi mu tànn place boobule dafa am ñu ko waral yooyu ba ci njëkk mooy ne arqam mii nga xam ne palaasam fa la yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam nekkoon ak ñii arqam moomu nekk doon de kenn dekkuñ xam ne dugg na ci islam bi le ne tuub na wala dugg na ci islam bi le xamewuñ koon loolu kon ñu gën a bari ci màkk yëpp lañ gisoon mooy ne arqam daal bokkagut ci jullit yële nga xamante ne ñoo nekk ci islam bi kon su boobaa nag kenn du foog ne yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam dana jël saxaaba yi di leen yóbbu ci këram ci kër arqam boobu nga xamante ne duggagul ñu foog ne duggagul ci islam kenn du foog ne kon yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mu nga foofu ak nitam ak saxaaba kenn du ko foog su boobaa nag nekkin wa kon day gën a wóor day gën a yomb ñaareel bayt mooy ne arqam mi mu ngi bokk ci bani maxsum te qabilatu bani maxsum ñoom ñooy ñi nga xamante ne ñoo amewoon drapeau bi nga xamante ne ñoo doon xeex ak bani hashim te ku ne xam ne yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ci bani hashim ci la bokk kon ba tey itam duñ foog ne daal kat Arqam gii yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam dana fa dem ak sahaaba yi ndeg mu ngi bokk ci giir goo xamante ne giir googu ñu ngi problème yu rëy lañu xam ak bani Hashim te yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam ci bani Hashim la bokk. kon kay Arqam su demee foofa di yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam te moom mu bokk ci te yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam bokk ci bani Hashim loolu kon kenn du foog ne lii war naa am ba tax na su boobaa kër gi dafay doole wóor ndax kenn du ko foogee ne fii yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam ak nitam dañ ci nekk. ba ko ñetteel mooy ne Arqam mii ñuy waxtaan yi nii xale la woon bu ndaw nañ ko waxee pa ay atam passé doon fukki at ak juróom benn 16 years passé wu ko mu am place ba mu am mu dalal fa yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam ak sahabaam ñu wàcc fa nekk fa su boobaa tey ña nga xam ne ñoo nekk biir Màkk di ay kilifa di seet yonent bi le fan la nekk ci biir Màkk duñu xalaat ne xale bu tuuti bu toll nii dana war a am place bii ba yonent bi dafa war a nekk ki nitam la ñuy foog kay mooy ne yonent bii kay fi mu war a nekk ci Màkk mooy dafay nekk ci kër yi nga xamante ne ñi ko moom ñooy kibaari sahaaba mooy sahaaba yu mag yi nga xamante ne tey ñooñu ñooy am kër di ko oom mu nekk fa ak ñi nga xam ne ñoom la àndal te ñooñu gisuñ ci ñoom kenn kuñ mën a xam koo xam ne def na loolu wala ku nekk ci loolu kon loolu dafa tax nag kër googu nga xamante ne Arqam ibnul Arqam moo ko moom dalal fa yonent bi ak i àndandooram soo baa kër googu dafa tax kër gi wóor dafa tax itam kër gi nekk kër goo xamante ne du neex a xam wala ñu bëri duñ ko xam lii moo tax nag yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam ci xam-xamam ak ci njàmbaaram ak ci xereñam tax mu tànn place bii ak àndandooram ñëw ci place bi nekk fa kon gannaaw loolu nag dañuy dem rek mooy tàmbali islaam ci waa ansaar te su ne waa ansaar nag mooy ñi nga xamante ne ñooy waa madinatul munawwara ndax yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam daf daan jamono bi nga xamante ne yàlla yónni na ko toogu doon daan na wóor di dem ci place yi nga xamante ne nit ñi dañ fay bari di wane boppam di wane itam yónent gi nga xamante ne moom la ko yàlla yónni fam dooree nag mooy ne dafa am benn délégation bu mag boo xamante ne ñu nga béy ko Xasraj ca Madinatul Munawwara ci jamonoy aj yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam dem tase ak ñoom ci fa ñuy wax Xaqaba nga xam ne ñoo aji Màkka fa la ñuy sànni jamra yi da ngay gis jamratul Xaqabatul ula jamratul Xaqabatul saaniya foofa yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam yow mii aji te jaar foofa na nga xam ne yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam fii la njëkk a dajee ak ñi nga xam ne ñoo jële gisoon bu bay ko Madina waxtaan ak ñoom ci li ko yàlla yónni lam njëkk a def mooy ba mu toogee ba mu leen gisee daf leen daa yéenay ñan ñu ne ko ñun dey ñooy waa Xasraj bàyyi ko Madinatul Munawwara boobu dëkk ba ñu ngi koy wax Yasriba mu ne leen ndax yéen du yéenay waa Madina waa Yasriba te nekk foofa dend fa ak yahudi ñu ne ko waaw mu ne leen ndax du ngeen ñëw ñu toog waxtaan ñu ko kay ñu toog ba ñu toogee mu oo leen ci li ko yàlla yónni waxtaan ceeg ñoom ci ne ko yàlla yónni mu wan leen mbiri islaam xamal leen mbiri islaam jàng alquran ba mu paree ñoom mu neen ñu waxante lu ñu waxante ñenn ñu wax nañ seen moroom ñu na leen kii kat mooy kañ yahudi yañ dëkkal Madina te ñoom yàlla joxoon leen xam-xam bañ xamoon yonent bi kii la ñu doon wax de kii la de nee na foofa la ñooñu ñoom dugg ci islam ànd ak yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam te ñooñu dañu war a dellu ñoom itam seen dëkk bu añ màkk gi jaaxee ñooñu nag ñu ngi nekkoon rek ci lu tolloog juróom-benn nit rek lañ toll woon kon nga xam ne booba islam mu ngee dem waaye màggagul lool gannaaw loolu nag juróom-benn yooyu nag ci la ñuy wax bayatul xaqabatul ula mooy nag ba nga xamante ne beneen at jot na nag ca la am ñu ñëw nag ñooñu nag ñoo bay ko Yasriba dellu tasi ak yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam ca xaqaba ci jamono aj màkk ñu bay ko ci ansaar ñooñu mutoon nañ fukki nit ak ñaar fukki yi ñooy waa Xasraj ñaar ñi ñoo bokk ci aws ñaari kaabila yu mag lañ dëkk ca Madinatul Munawwara yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam ba mu gàddaayee fa leen fekk ñooñu nag bokkoon na ci ñoom ku ñu wax Ubaadata ibnu Saamit al-Xasraji ci ñoom ñooñu la bokkoon gannaaw loolu nag ci la bay'atul aqaba as-saaniya suñu bay'atul aqaba as-saaniya nag bay'atul aqaba mooy mubaaya bi nga xamante ne ña ñëwoon def nañ ko yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam mooy déggoo ak d'accord ak juboo gi nga xamante ne am na ak nangul gi nga xamante ne am na ci diggante ñooñu la ñëwoon ak yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam mooy bay'a boobule ñooñu nag xawoon nañu takk ndax demoon nañ ba mut juróom-ñaar fukki nit comme ni ko Jaabir ibn Abdullah indee ba loolu amee nag ci la yonent bi sallallahu alayhi wasallam ebal Mus'ab ibn Umayr
Alhaji Mamadi Kurang, Independent.
And Matthew Gummins, Independent.
Sunday, the 31st of October, Ibrahim Tabora Mane, Independent.
Nations Watch, coming to you live on GRTS.
From the 30th of October to the 5th of November.
Join us every day during this period from 9 a.m.
Meet the aspirants. Saturday, 30th, Joseph H. Juve, Independent.
Marie Sok Jobate, Independent.
Bringing you nominations of presidential aspirants for the 2021 December 4th presidential elections. So far, so good. It has been quite smooth sailing, and we are at the climax of the event. Right now, we only have one more candidate or aspirant scheduled to present his nomination papers before the Independent Electoral Commission, and he is Dr. Yusufa Dumbuya of the Democratic Party. Dr. Dumbuya got his party registered on the 1st of March 2021. That was when the IEC announced that a party has been registered as a Democratic Party under the leadership of Dr. Yusufa Dumbuya. Dr. Dumbuya was born and brought up in Banjul, according to some of the information we have gathered, but we'll be looking at some of the things that he's been doing. We know that he's been pursuing a PhD in accounting and business studies at the University of Maryland, and that is in the United States of America. So he will be the final aspirant expected to present his nomination papers. He was scheduled to be here by 12:30, but we are still waiting. It is already gone past half the hour now, but he is still not yet around. Once he arrives here, we will be giving you details of his nomination process, because as usual he will be submitting his documents to election officials. After that, he will be speaking to members of the press, which has been the norm ever since the nomination process got underway 7 days ago. My name is Esa Sow. In case you're just joining us, this is GRTS. We are on GRTS radio as well, on 98.6 and on 106.7 megahertz on the FM band, and on our respective frequencies across the country. I am with Bakari Fati, Baka Kalajula, Sali Jaju, and Yusufa Bojang. Briefly.
ngolo ngal bismillah ko take momi nango fanyi no keno IC la ko dabanyi to jang batil hayden silabanyi kan intemben na sa lo suta tonla bawo mo laba mo yalan ko oriental la nomination cardul felana wolbe silo kannan mo yala wolem professor Yusufa Dumbuya wolbe silo kannan an kama kan moy ngaji ki atlbe silo kannan adu nyeng mo altantulati bawo nyi sibitlung la nyi data sibitambila bare kol beta le karo kono la fo ale nata mako e biya flenting sa boko karo nam ba ta mela kol be kum fala bare is fam wala mu yal ne ko ate wulra banyunne adu fanambe karam munna karam forring abolla bawo nyin kontolu zamu ko accounting karam fanna mu yala ko kontolel jube ko do ning nyongolu ate bola karankan PhD University do to fa Maryland kumbe America banko nyin kan ala patio nyin register no maji karot li follow lang nyinan sangola adu bitung afanamu molto yal nako nyin hamon soto sain ka lo puka banko nya ton ka nyine dise makarna la ka fa mo bakannan yindi se makaro nganyat limunna ajiko atamela aftala jang naftala jang asala karol finindi komon kata adote na ala skairos finindi kolala asna nin kibatara le nyomoe ya nyinenka ko ya donyol nyinenka nyame inshallah no fanan kata na babu chambi janne mu yalne ko tinata wala jam pour ko kul dolu kaf nyoma inshallah satanye wo nyinenka rol ni jabrol tata nyame bitu wala drong be ale jang radio television lem alla radio television bombañen wala bi jang ka kulu fali kay tandalla kabe keri nyame ntilem bakari fati nemul bi jawole bakala julati Isa Sow Salijajo ani Yusuf Bojan inshallah atamela dong ngaji ki Mr. Professor Biftala Njang ada setelwe kala mo labonti mo yal no ka ko faro kala nyin ko la mo yal wala nation quality mo yal data sibit tambila kananan bi inshallah altanto be caring bawa betar nen karol kono la duwalu mosaf duwal mon ni jabitale bawa flenting kul betar nen karo kono la adon gambe wol long ngaji ko nyin ko fom be tamle nen karo kono la aba alfala ko duwale adu alfala duwa onen mamboy inshallah
wolem to nyaati alhaji bakari fati emite kati bukanom kamiri bujongorob GRTS di kayinteno rak radiyay be jaatwul kokude former of feti Independent Electoral Commission kafay kila yan manju yoku jumenom di ka jikerak mo kana metele bete male di mo famole la wole no meti kabrin sibite GRTS the Independent Electoral Commission ko kondi ka manjeno mo kana meti senate waita wan kon nomination bu yonde jaw eno didi jaat kankan funa ko fanu manjum fo kalimisa kukilamba fulimta fukila fote wambi meti bokana kanu manjum burom ko mamambe jum mambo kana ko ngolen kullebi te wolebe te male waran kan fulenga fu feti December jano non funa ka fulum ka fanku waran ku sen waita woli Independent Electoral Commission kabrin sibite wuju nya wuje bukan kone kabanan kuringulo ringu dede kan manjum burom IEC ku seni se wata di ku seni mi waita woli ne manku waran ku kameno jaat po kabrin bujomore wul ko to tate jaat ana fejintine wanu manjum po o tay kana na lim ko wata ngiru waita wola o konen Professor Yusufa Dumbuya achila pona kankana nyileti mo fameti Gambia no manjum di flenga feti March thinking 2021 nona jumenum party yola yankonen Democratic Party mana yisembo kana kemo fameti Gambia meti achila pona mamam kano kendi mukana meti politiki kabri wata achila wana kane wana ndeka sanken fochule wayipu no ponu manjeno deka pana kuchila para Professor Yusufa Dumbuya kone Banjul de suketi Banjul kapitale yoleli bona walimi bona kurimi bona tongom kakaranga kola baraka karanga kola kura utudede mo famiti Gambia de na jojo fambe mo famiti America mana karangom mantenye abaji wanku bobo koregen PhD dika panaketi pima beti fubaja femo famiti Gambia dika nomenak bona karangom di university yankone Maryland yamiri mo famiti America woto Professor Dumbuya wajupo e pambumik di mokana meti patie yola di wana jumum di wo di wanosani wajom di kan wonora woli fochule panjijam GRTS kurimawke nyemo momu wata yankusenum Professor Dumbuya erindi meti 12 erin ja may wuji ja siminit sone kabanandi unyen aware na ringu tate bare 12 e wuji nye wata yukoni erino e dede be jaatu kana kujuko to Professor Dumbuya bare IEC kunikana koli kabrin chairman di kuroka burom kunga ngaflaka foli be kobo muman manjum o aware nabi be tate mana yisen waita wala di kapana keti nomination eti finkin woto focule panuwam burom wabaje mi dere kabrin sibite awuji nyabe jat bare jandi loyi isen microphone arakorom baka kala jula mana ringeno wande kabajo tate di fanka fomo ka fe IEC aputo jadorong Yusufa Bojampo na sankendi bukana kolele kamiri ka yenteno rakadi ko wala fakka baka
wari ajada to sali jaju maren chonin ko wada xanne mokano harbi na ga simmandi o waga dangani election house batin hadin killi goren kamma sasa brambe unity party ga girinonga kengani Abdullahi Ibrahima Jamme kenga girinonga sasa oji kenga kebe ga kamma ga killendi sasa kundol la ganara muru professor Yusufa Dumbuya awakillendi alla ganara muru kenka makko yerra bi taga kin qomi sefanu ngada ko mobe ona foko koni professor Yusufa Dumbuya ida ko ngoda ngan nanti ita sare banjunu wayn Dumbuya qomi agada qaringen dabari fulla qabe kudo na foko ama khamanga qaringen fulla qigatini kebe dan PhD qomi kontim bagande na burun kontim bagande taran karan kendo sahari trendinde karanga kenga accounting and business ada ken qaringen dabari qaran kumpi qoriyadi igatini kharala be dangani University of Maryland ken America jamane nyakam awa ken kam mokunga ida ko dangan nanti oda ke famu adi pati ke ga kunga na register jamane ke kamma kem paga gemo matching kaso nyaay matching bita fananga igatini parti ke be dangani Democratic Party ke be gada kanan ka Dr. Yusufa Dumbuya ken kam mokunga na ga dangani ken ci gra xey brembe gelli finu nga joppe gelle ke sibidi dangente ona la nuari ona la kuva ona la jaki o gadante kini jakinde be kempanga oda jopa alla de manden kamma alla kallankaru alla banannaru ado alla finnen kamma oda jopa bismillahir rahmanir rahim lenki alla hagala lenki kotan ko yoy kengani lenki jumanga ke kota hore kundu akin kamma ko alla gnara muru tampille mba tanje community kane o watina alhamdulillah ona la nuari ona la kufa na koy fadama ko na ko jamane le munga ko melaji bakare gada ko mogobe jamane kini khairin jamane nyaay ko gonu no kismanu ndo fa ba kasunga do wonu benu khada bari jamane ke kam kun do wonu takenne o mu ko sunin ko nga o mu ko sefanu nga nandu wa medangani na gargante nga na duwa alla ki khare fulani jinga bonde ki khare no soke nga bonde ki khare no ki khare barkindi wallahi njimbe ma na gargante amadu wa khare ke dangani de adui medangan ala di bakare ngam en fodron komi ka muru la kuma kan kada bakado danemba microphone moro ndila isama e ko nyin ko mumela be menga nyim beno wala mudduwati oto menga banko fata worolo muta menga sam fata worolo muta obuka yom fa abuka yoyo woto fa fuloli duwa minke banko nyin kan ko nyin datta khair anin khair kam nyin sibidi tambila kanatu ko fobila oto hanin bi nin ko membo nyama ni sidimba la duwa farola nyinya farola barako jiwe siya faro kono ngaji kini sidimba mandua faro de adwada kono batole
abaraka baka kala jula jërëjëf baka kala jula mbokk yi ñu ngi fii ca Independent Electoral Commission fii nag nekk ca Batin Hadin Highway tey nag la bés bu mujj ci wàllum ñoo xam ne ñooy saytu siisi kii di président bu réew Gambie fu mu nekk ni ñu ngi xaarandekoogum kii di ngiitu Democratic Party kilifa yoo xam ne doore ko ti borom toogu bu commission bi chairman Aliou Momane Ndiaye ak ñoo xam ne ñoo topp ci moom di ko dimbali ci liggéey bi di ko jàppale ci liggéey bi ñoom ñëpp ñu ngi toog fu mu nekk nii di xaarandekoogum kii di professeur Yusufa Dumbuya bu yegsee rek dinañ jàkkaarloog moom gisee ak moom bu jébbal leen ay kayitam moom kii di professeur Yusufa Dumbuya nit la koo xam ne mu ngi juddoo ci Banjul yara ci Banjul Dumbuya nag yëgoon nañu ne mu ngi doon yeggali jàngam ci wàllum PhD ci lii di accounting ak lii di maanaam business studies dañoo toppatoore mbirum business gi moom nag mu ngi register patiyom benn fan ci weeru March ci la IEC daal di fësal ni am na parti bu bees bu ñu xamee Democratic Party bu taxaw nekk parti bu bees gannaaw bu ñu matale sarti yëpp yoo xam ne moom moo ëmb lépp loo xam ne mooy parti bëgg a bokk ci wàllum jongante sandi carte gi ci réew mi fii la naam Ibrahima jóge na fi dem
bu ñu dooree maanaam nomination candidate yi ba tey candidate yu bëre ñoo fi jaar ci kanami kilifa yi le ci kanam tuuti esa dina leen jëbal tur yooyu na leen limal candidate yooyu waaye nag alhamdulillah sant yàlla bu baax a baax ñaani kilifa yi ñaani mag yi ñëpp ñaani nangu nañu réewu Gambia jàmm la ñu xam réew mu Gambia jàmm rek la ñu mës a xam te jàmm moo fi sax bu ñu dooree maanaam door nañu ci bisimilahi rahmaani rahim ñu ngi yeggali ci alhamdulillahi rabil alamin niki bés niki tey ci kon nag mu des samedi gi ci la askan gi ak ñun ñi wala yeneen political party ñëw seet seen i naataango yi seen nawle it ñoom yan kayit la ñu jëbbal ndax méngoo na ak sarti yoo xam ne moom la IEC laajte pour gars yi jëbbal kon nag fu mu nekk nii di xarande koogum kii di professeur Youssoupha Doumbouya bu ñu ñëwoon Youssoupha rek esa moom dafa tiit foogoon na man la waaye dinaa la déedéet du man professeur Youssoupha Doumbouya la di doomi Banjul juddoo ci Banjul magee ci Banjul yaroo Banjul def jàngam ca amee PhD ca University bu Maryland ci réewum Amérique esa
jërëjëf bu baax a baax Youssoupha ñu ngi la jaajëfal di jaajëfal Sali Jaaju di jaajëfal Baka Kala Jula ak kooku di Alhaji Bakary Fati. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still waiting for the arrival of the leader of Democratic Party, who is no other than Dr. Youssoupha Doumbouya. Dr. Doumbouya is scheduled to present his nomination papers to the IEC between 12:30 to 1 p.m. So we're still waiting. He still has some minutes left on the clock for him to make his way here to the IEC complex along Battle Harden Highway. But so far so good. 22 aspirants have presented nomination bids to the Electoral Commission. They include the President and leader of the National People's Party, His Excellency Adama Barrow, Marisok, independent candidate, Joseph H. Juve, independent, Mamadi Kurang, independent, Usenu A.N.M. Dabo, UDP, Mai Ahmad Fati, GDC, Bankoli Aheze, who is independent, Mamadi K.S. Kamara, Lamin Satu Bojang, who is the leader of the ANRD party, Se Matar Nyang, independent candidate, and Momodou Ba is also an independent candidate. You have Ismaila Cisse of the Citizens Alliance Party, and then you have Mamadou Ba. So you have Momodou Ba and Mamadou Ba. So both of them are independent candidates. Ibrahima Tabora Mane, independent, has also submitted his nomination papers to the Electoral Commission. Mama Kande, who is the leader of the Gambia Democratic Congress, has also submitted nomination papers. Halifa Babakar Salah of PDOIS Doi, Halifa Salah, has also submitted his nomination papers for president. Setijan Haidara of Ghana also submitted his nomination papers. Remember, there was a lot of talk as to whether Ghana will be joining APRC or, the breakaway supporters of former President Yahya Jammeh, but we saw him independently submit his nomination papers before the commission under Ghana. And seemingly we have the candidate coming any moment from now. Dr. Doumbouya will be here with us. Aliou Sow of GAP has also submitted his nomination papers, Gambia Action Party. And Tamsir M. Jase is an independent candidate. Esa Mbai Fall has also submitted his nomination papers to the IEC. Papa Fall of the National Unity Party, or independent rather, Papa Fall is independent. He has also submitted his nomination papers. Abdullah Ibrahima Jammeh of the National Unity Party submitted earlier this morning. And Dr. Youssoupha Doumbouya is the one on his way to submit his nomination papers before the Independent Electoral Commission. So it has been quite interesting and most importantly successful, calm and serene for that matter, here at the Independent Electoral Commission. And we have reached the climax of what has been quite a very eventful and a successful week for the Independent Electoral Commission, for the parties, their leaders and supporters, as well as members of the media. You can see the escort, you can hear the sound on the background. Dr. Doumbouya is being escorted by some of his supporters, and any moment from now, he will make his way into the IEC complex here along the Battle Harden Highway. My name is Esa, so with me is Bakary Fati, Baka Kalajula, Sali Jaju, and Youssoupha Bojang. Once Dr. Doumbouya makes his way into the complex, he will be ushered in straight to the desk of the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Aliou Momar Njai, where he will submit his nomination papers. So we have been talking about this ever since the process began. All these aspirants have just submitted nomination papers. Their nominations have not yet been endorsed by the Electoral Commission. It is subject to public scrutiny tomorrow, and subsequently the IEC will announce the candidates, successful ones for that matter, are qualified to contest in the December 4th presidential election. So the process is on. GRTS is giving you exclusive coverage of the entire electoral process, and we will continue to give you, the coverage that you deserve, and with expertise around the clock here on the Gambia radio and television services. We will be giving you the public scrutiny. We will also be giving you, the announcement from the IEC. Once details are released, we will get them to you. The campaign will follow, and then we'll have the cooling day, and then subsequently polling day. That is going to be on election day, the big day itself, Sally, and then the announcement of results. So it is going to be quite an eventful period for the Gambia radio and television services, and we are ready and set to give you what you deserve as your national broadcaster, setting the pace in broadcasting across the country. So in the meantime, as you can hear on the background, or those of you watching television, that is Dr. Dumbuya there, just at the entrance of the IEC complex. He's been received by the Vice Chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Mr. Joe Colley, who will usher him to the desk where he is expected to submit his nomination papers. So he's been accompanied by some jubilant supporters. The Vuvuzelas made their way from South Africa to Banjul, and they've been blown all over throughout this entire process. And I'm sure the candidates love it. The fanfare.
Well, Esa, we used to hear some of these things during football matches.
Yes,
but
they have
now
made their way to politics.
Elections and politics.
So interesting, Sally. So we will wait patiently for Dr. Dumbuya to make his way to the nomination desk, where he will present his nomination papers. We have been talking about the requirements over and over. They are very critical, because as far as this process is concerned, or this aspect of the electoral process is concerned, which is the nomination, the requirements are quite critical and central to the entire process. So basically, you need to be a Gambian before you can take part. You need to be 30 years, at least 30 years old. You need to have secondary school education, senior secondary school for that matter. You also need to be resident of the Gambia, or resident in the Gambia, 5 years preceding this specific election. You also need to submit a declaration of asset. You need to have a tax clearance certificate. You need nomination endorsement from at least 5,000 registered voters, with at least 200 from the various administrative regions. So those are requirements that are very, very important. Among other requirements, over a dozen of them that candidates must fulfill before they'll be given the nod to take part in the December 4th presidential elections. Dr. Dumbuya on your screen there, those of you watching television, he is about to take his seat, which is right opposite the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Aliu Momar Njai. Once he takes his seat, the process will begin. He will submit the documents, and one after the other, the documents will be received by the IEC, and they will be marked as documents presented to the commission, and they will be subject to public scrutiny, and then probably we will get the final announcement from the Independent Electoral Commission. Then musid bendaro be GRTS mi non monani do Batin Hadin Highway IEC joni non ko Dr. Youssoufa Dumbuya mo gananta mako mako ardi Democratic Party DP ko mako ari pour non o okira nomination kayteji makko di tonto IEC do ay nden non Dr. Dumbuya ko neddo mo gananta mako Banjul o jibina te non ko March lewru mum folo hitande 2021 ko nden IEC holli jama o fof wondena Dr. Dumbuya o darni political party o wadi o register e do nder leydi Gambia do ay makko non ko neddo mo gananta ma mbo janga PhD dum non ko jangde townde tonto University of Maryland dum ko leydi America ko tono janganno PhD in accounting and financial studies and then ko dum business studies ko dum gollanno ton e dum janganno ton financial business studies yo accounting dum Dr. Dumbuya
and welcome. Thank you. We start the process with silent prayers, please. Right, we are here to be considered for nomination to continue the forthcoming December elections. And you are required to bring documents so that we can go through it and see if we are qualified or not. Can we have the documents one after the other, please? Submit them one after the other. These documents.
Koko manku jume ke Red Cross koko manku jume manku kamenem moko candidate ko diku pali kane no fim meti campagne rinja moko te kan no fim meti sibite IEC ku joja man ku kure wure saw karongom di kariungom tum banku mang meti IEC furima foli momo ko nen men di watati campagne po no fim meti ku patia kurunga koli burom di bukuri bena koli banku kande manku wan ku kameno man kayra no kenu dede ela ko dede di funa kafete lebe po di fime bokana pankuriben IEC man kunen men mante bu pina bu joja bu ban bokana pankuriben man kayra en Gambia en manjimi mante hiku wonko yodi smiling coast yo la ko dede oto dede po IEC burom joye burom man ko tom kabri sibite be jaat wa waware no kandi kapana ke kapoya bokana burom junjum yusufa
sali bo fam man sume fang IEC nan ko tong mi ak candidat no sana ringlo mi rek ku lawera mi tay e rambeni man ko tong bu roga bolil di ko sume man ko bambu di ko sumay ro fam man baje fukaw fang mo kammi manujo kenya ro baje jak folo
man kane meno wula po na jajuma na nana no lakami tokon umika meti babaji maf meti ngire manu manje election e kankan ka jamorta ko man ko bidi mo famole bare Gambia odu kantu burung butonganda muno kenadi politique ni fim manu kana le meno burunga be popunu kana enomo man kayra en manjo e piyo mi dede e ngole ne ruku dede nu lakoya de kayre e jaye focule an manju yono mangam meti amama bilum dede esa yusufa ano sani angarlo mi wayta wala dede aregeriti meti ni mamma berongo mo fameti Gambia pour nafa yumbo narere meti ni mamma berongo mini rok mo fameti Gambia kapoya ke juwe fu bajaf di wanu wanye wano sani woto do ise meti ko buro Gambia ko mange banja wan komide nyese Gambia ko mange woto kuri makuchila kan kumikem di fureli mpa foli lako di sisigire soli lako di mundo kora moli ko kan manjum ko konde rongo ni mukana meti politique wanosani wan kote kan ku kam manjak man kuribe na koli kuribe ni nemmo mo Gambia e manji meno esa Mr. Dumbuya and the people are presenting their documents. But I'm pleased to see a lady present the documents on behalf of the Democratic Party. I think this is historic. I've not seen it in all the nominations that preceded this one. Yes. So gender equality surface.
And in fact, quite unprecedented is for the first time we are having a female running for president. In Marie Sox, she presented her nomination papers. We will see how things pan out for her, because we know all these candidates will have their papers scrutinized and the IEC will eventually tell us the outcome of the entire nomination process. But it is quite fascinating and a step in the right direction to have women actively taking part in the electoral process, especially running for,
wearing their asubis, clapping for the politicians, most of whom are men, but they should also come out and be political leaders, because in this country there is no discrimination in who will be a leader and who should not be a leader.
In terms of
gender equality or other areas. So this is an encouragement for every female out there who wants to be part of Gambian politics.
Very well, and you have 53 that will be contested in by some of these candidates. You have 1,554 polling stations across the country come these elections, and the voter register, there has been a substantial increase in number of registered voters, because this year we have 962,157 registered voters. So it's almost 1 million registered voters. Just few 100,000 short of 1 million registered voters to take part in this upcoming electoral cycle. So in the meantime, that is development. The electoral process is improving. You look at what used to obtain some 10, 20 years ago and what is obtaining today in terms of numbers. You will realize that there is a substantial increase in terms of participation, in terms of candidates themselves coming forward seeking some of these offices. And the constituencies have also been increased by the IEC. Remember the demarcation that was made a few years ago to add the number of constituencies. The polling stations equally have been increased. We have 1,554 polling stations across the country where Gambian elect voters will take to cast their ballot on the 4th of December 2021 and probably in the National Assembly elections and the subsequent local government elections. So we'll still wait because as you can see on your screen, documents are exchanging hands. The candidate or the aspirant, Dr. Dumbuya, is submitting his documents to the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, Aliu Momarinjai, and his staff, who have been very supportive. We also want to say the Red Cross has also been doing a very phenomenal job here, ensuring that everyone here is okay, the COVID-19 protocols are observed. The security, most importantly, have done a very good job, because we know in moments like this, I mean, the euphoria is very high, emotions run very high, but the security has done a very good job to ensure there was safety and security throughout the electoral process. In fact, I mean, the nomination process, we have reached the climax. This is the final candidate scheduled to present nomination papers before the IEC. We will also be thanking our GRTS technicians, both from the radio and television. You have Lamin Silla and his cameraman. They have been doing a great job throughout these 7 days. You also have Bakari Baji and his team of technicians. I mean, the Obi Van, they have done a great job making sure that there is live broadcast from this place. The drivers from the chief driver down to the other staffs, they have all done very well. Even the staffs at the offices in GRTS, everybody has contributed to the success of this broadcast and coverage of the nomination of presidential candidates. So it has been a very, very good teamwork out here, and the Aissatou Keita as well. Aissatou has been here coordinating and directing what we have been doing. So we want to thank Aissatou Keita very well. For the radio team, Dauda Njai, Madimo Kendo Juara, Lamin Jackson Njai, they have also done very well. They have been here throughout, and they are, support staff. I mean, the cameramen, we cannot call all their names, but they are all great. They have done a very, very good job throughout this process. So far, so good. 23 candidates, or aspirants, I should say, 23 aspirants have submitted nomination papers to the Independent Electoral Commission. So are we going to have 23 candidates on the ballot boxes? We'll find out when the IEC scrutinizes these papers and put them before the public for further scrutiny, and then gives us the result or the outcome of that public scrutiny. So we will find out how many of these candidates, or in fact maybe all of them will make it to the, or if all of them will make it to the ballot come December the 4th. So very well, Bakari.
Thank you very much, Isa. That was a very comprehensive analysis of the whole thing, and now we are witnessing, as we are seeing right in front of us, the submission of nomination papers by Dr. Dumbuya. Mbadingolo, ko Isa fanyimen drong, saying Liro Futata Toma saying, Bao Molawa Muyalne ko wala nyanta nyinkolu kumfala wala mo Dr. Professor Yusuf Dumbuya. Bitung wala be kalbaje ka nyemen drong, albama kan wala neng IC alphalbek katul tala nyotema kala satul bejuwe mo yalon ka nyante ke timandi pro ase elono na la hakilo ba madrong karne fay ka
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Are you Yusuf Dumbuya?
Yusuf A. Dumbuya.
Now decide what do you want?
Just put Yusuf A. Dumbuya. Yes.
Here on the declaration form.
Yes.
Your voters card.
Okay. 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 Yes. No?
Why is the voters card?
Just put the number. We can.
Lebih signor la fan. Sale ñu mo ngam sa ngal de.
politiko ñaato ñaatotaɓe musoli e jeeli bayri musolu meta politiko kono fo kewol fan ya lon ko musoli e momo bambo itele ka gagné itele ka ñaaton ka ya soto banko kam say muso fan fintida ha ngajele 2016 muso fintita bara nata la do kan bari ñinan muso fan lota hana keta independent candidate ñaawo ñang ay kaytol be nati adi IEC kamin duwa wole makana dawoto ni IEC be mol tol finti kamin ya lon koy tolle be labanna ka tara kaytol kono bela fila mar sok se taraji pura se sembo di musol la min ya lon koy be koma ila ftadu na politiko kono bare kemira fo be nakuma kanja wole fola ba fo gambia be sonna ka muso nyaaton kayandi ba wol be yatina musol lata kono bar sa ngamira ko nyintembe bayri man sakundal min ya lon ko wolle tambitani min bijan ibe programme ol natile min be muso sembentu yar bi ni ngaje muso e professeur dumbuya dandan nan jang abe lori ngala ko bela IEC fe ngo fe nyininka amang ngoma aman sila atambita ko wol be nyaato waya itandile ko Gambia
ni samoye bambo isingo buka kombo
musolo musamole ti baka
wala mu to nyaata nyingombe duwala dron ala kana ke kusan janiti
Okay. Correct. Correct. I want to be thorough as possible, and I want to do that later today. Yes.
You are contesting for the party.
Yes.
Do you have any letter from that party stating that they are sponsoring you to conduct it, to contest the election? What is sponsorship letter? It's part of the requirement.
Well,
Your party should write stating that they are sponsoring you to contest in the election. And we get that before 4 o'clock today.
yeah, correct. It's kind of ambiguous because the Democratic Party, we're sponsoring ourselves. So if you mean a third party, I don't know.
No,
the party itself. Okay.
The candidate for the party.
Okay. Okay.
Sponsorship.
Okay. All right. We'll get that in before 4. Yes, yes.
idet alaji mamadi kurang mari sok jobate sibitin kota ke sibiti danginte dimasin kota nga dimasi danginte octobre tanyi kendo baninga ibrahima tabora mane independent mr mamadou ba independent bankoli ahazi independent lamin bojang ANRD tene danginte novembre mbita fananga kengani UDP party kanan kenga honorable lawyer Fusenu Dabo akenga girino nga James party kanan ki adu kafo kibe gada kem follaqe wala kem parti kanan ka honorable Mai Ahmed Fati akenga girono nga APP kem parti gari nali ato on khade go taare kibe di kenga makko nga talatan ko tanga november mbita fillandinga GDC parti kanan ki adi kafo honorable Mama Kande agari akenga girono nga Citizen Alliance Dr. Ismaila Cisse agana ken talata banane Mamadou Ba independent aken talata banane Mamade Case Camara independent agana ken talata banane ken kam makuma araban ko tanga araba danginte november mbita sekandinga gatini parti kebe dangani GA parti kebe ga ko ibe gada kanan ka ko kengani Sheikh Tidiane Haidara kengani ganu partinga nan chari brufut
Yes, I do. I'm requesting for a 2-hour time so I can submit it with the rest of the paper.
You want to submit the rest of the paper?
Yes, before 4. Correct. Yes. Yes.
You have not submitted a sample of your photograph. But you use the election.
Yeah, well, we do have that ready. So
You do have it.
yes, but
Can you submit it together with the paper?
yes.
Mr. Booker, you submitted 2 samples of your
Correct.
symbol.
Correct.
Which one are you choosing?
On your left.
This one.
Yes, on your right. Yes.
Because on this one you have to attach as your
Yes.
symbol.
Yes. I just gave you this.
Documents that you should provide before you close this nomination.
Okay.
One,
Yeah, go. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, go. Okay.
you accept the declaration. You should notarize it.
Okay.
Let's see that.
Yes. Notarize asset declaration.
Your campaign program put in something.
Campaign schedule to program.
Your party should write a sponsorship letter.
Sponsorship letter. Do you need that one to be notarized too?
No. It's just the asset declaration that should be notarized.
Okay.
And a sample of your photograph.
A sample photograph.
So your name now is Mr. Yusuf for A. Dumbuya.
Correct.
So what you have is Dumbuya. Then there's one T. Then we have one.
Okay. Correct.
I mean, just using your name, you don't come along with your titles. If you are a PhD holder, your doctorate degree, I mean, title, you'll have to wait until probably after election if you are elected into office. If you, I'll be SRSO on the ballot papers.
Because
So
that's what's on your national documents.
definitely, and it has to be in conformity with the electoral laws and requirements. Yes, it will be Bakari Fati. Yusufa Bojang there for you on the... It has to come. Alhaji Bakari says the whole title has to come. But anyway, back to business. As you can see right now, it is 16 minutes on top of the hour 1 o'clock. The process is supposed to close any moment from now, but there's still time given for this entire submission to be concluded by Dr. Yusufa Dumbuya. Then subsequently, Dr. Dumbuya will speak to members of the media. They have already formed a semicircle around the mixed zone where the interview is normally conducted, and they are waiting patiently for Dr. Dumbuya to come so they could ask some of the questions they have in mind for these presidential aspirants. An eventful 1 week, but a very successful one as well, without major hitches. Everything has been smooth sailing, and we have reached the climax of this entire nomination process. The electoral process continues with public scrutiny tomorrow. IEC will announce those that will get their candidature approved, and then parties will also have to submit their their campaign itinerary, because the IEC need time to reconcile all the nomination itineraries of the various parties to avoid classes here and there. So they will need to do that. Once they get their approval from the commission, they need to submit their campaign itinerary so that the commission can reconcile all the various campaign itineraries to ensure we have a smooth and a peaceful campaign. From the campaign, we'll have 1 day cooling off when everybody can go home now, decide and make a choice. And then on December the 4th, Gambians will take to the queues peacefully, we pray and hope, and then their ballot, go back home, listen to the radio or the television. GRTS will be broadcasting everything, inshallah. As usual, we have been setting the pace over the years, providing uninterrupted coverage for our Gambian citizenry. And in fact, now that we are on satellite, Gambians in the diaspora can follow everything happening in this country through GRTS. On our satellite, we have our social media handles quite active and effective. We are updating information on our social media pages and handles respectively, making sure that everybody gets the information that they deserve to get as far as this very important fundamental aspect of our electoral process and democracy is concerned. Bakari Fati.
Ala Isa abebe kerinya drong IEC la ko dabanyinto battle heading highway dami yal nako be mum jube kam mum be nyato bi nyintambe na wala mo Mr. Yusufa Dumbuya ala nomination katulu ke iftandi IEC alfalma bo kolbe keri mbarjan nimbe tantena drong nse mola kriblandi mol mo yal nako ilo tan nyinkate fa warante nomination pe katulu nyim iftandi IEC ma womul folowle alaji Mamadou Kourate sibiti tambila karotel tan sabo ngay lonko Joseph Diouf independent wo fanang independent o futan jang kala katul futandi o boren kolala alaji Mamadou Kouranata wo fanaya ala katul futandi o boren kolala le mar sok jobate atade mala musoti mulal ne ko wolle la hamoy tan pokalo o fanaya ala katul futandi modo Matthew Gomez onara la lonying baile isaf me ko withdrawal dimanche lumula karotul tan sabanen kilona october kartamila Ibrahima Tabura Mane independent candidate wala katlu futandi IEC ma a boring kolaje Mr. Mamadou Ba o fanama independent candidate rolti o boring je bankole ahazze o fanaya la katlu futandi independent candidate ticket la bo fanam bulu bitum mo lawa mo yalon kala katlu futandi IEC dimanche lumula wala Lamin Bojandi party leader ANRD tenen limula karo November karotul folola UDP party leader honorable lawyer Dabo ala katulu futandi IEC ma ade boring kolaje GMC honorable Mai Fati ofana ala katulu futandi IEC jang o kolale mo APP wo lela wo fana yela katulu futandi katandi ko la taka withdraw wala muka ke la kulu bay ala loñi bay mo yalla Mr. Jani le ba kulu ñato wo samola talata lumo karotli e flanyala november karo GDC party leader honorable Makande wala yala kat luftandi ay sima ato long kilimula Citizen Alliance Dr. Ismaila Cissé nyaron kaya koto o fana nala mulna rakele kat luftandi o borin kolala Mamadou Ba independent candidate of Taranjang o kolala Mamad
My pleasure acknowledge of the documents you brought. Of course, they will be subject to public review tomorrow. Thereafter, I will let you know the status of your application. Yeah, the visiting was listed by protocol.
Thank you.
And good luck and God bless.
Thank you.
We will just stick to Yusufa Dumbuya so far because, like you had initially from the IEC chairman, when it comes to titles and other things like that, they don't matter here much. You only go with your name. So his supporters across the applauding and whistling, some of them using the vuvuzela, making noise to show their love and support to Yusufa Dumbuya of the Democratic Party. He will now speak to members of the press. Our very own Babu Cham is right in the midst.
Having gone through the election process, vying for presidency, your main intention is to develop the Gambia, to see the Gambia you want. Now tell us, how are you going to achieving these objectives?
Mom here. I want to thank her very much. I want to thank my category manager, Maso is here. He'll have a good job. Thank Adaya Masisi, my political advisor. I want to thank my secretary, Sarah, who we have always had. I want to thank these people right here. These are Gambian. This is why I'm here. Serious problem that I cannot just in 3 minutes define the problems that we have in Gambia. But I would redirect your question, and answer one thing that is very, very important. That is your economic issue, and that is healthcare. That is an economic issue. If we deal with it properly, we will take care of employment issues in Gambia. A population less than 1,600, we have to ask ourselves, what are we doing for 53 years? And I ask you journalists, does it take 53 years to develop a nation less than 1.7 million? And all of you will agree with me, that is no. So also to address, in order to address, we talk about economic development on us. We talk about we cannot develop the economy if we do not, what I call, deal with the root cause of the economic issue we have. There's also corruption, which is by and large just too broad. And we're also going to take care of the corruption issue, zero tolerance of corruption, take care of the ineffectiveness that's in the system. Your country cannot be developed with this ineffectiveness. The structure, everything is ineffective by and large. So we have to deal with the system change to address your economic situation in Gambia.
Mr. Dumbuya, we understand that there are documents that you did not submit and you are given time before 4 o'clock to submit it. How optimistic are you that you will meet the required time?
Oh, the documents, there already. Now, even they give me 1 hour, I'll submit it. All right? I want professionality. You can't lead this nation when you start with ineffectiveness. So I don't want to bring in a sloppy document. And I know we are all in this struggle together. The young, the orphan, the poor, the women, all of us are in this struggle together. We want a better country for our people. We want a better nation. We want a nation where the poor can survive. Many of you come here, you don't have a breakfast. Many of you have orphaned the children who doesn't have lunch, dinner. So, so if you look at the system, it's not there for me to turn this question. Your electric system is out. So I couldn't get to the point where I can just. But hopefully your electric system is on, is back on. It's a matter of time to print those documents and get it back here. Yes.
Implementation of the system change here. How do you intend to change the system, let's say, if you are elected as president?
Well, that's also a broad question that I can answer that with a limited time of 5 minutes. But I'll just make it general. Take care of the people and take the corruption out of the system. That's the beginning. And pay people. In order to take care of the corruption, you must also pay people. Gambia start paying people.
So, Mr. Dubu, you have been going out and coming to the country. So, how do you intend to deal with your dual citizenship?
Well, I have always, half of it is a personal question, but half of it is a duty to the Gambian people to know who I am. I've been in this country for a while, but like many of them, the leaders who are contesting, they're going back and forward. But let me tell you one of the reasons why I went out, all right? I just went and I have a conversation with, I'm not going to mention their name, the people who matter, and that is the people in Saudi Arabia, some people, we didn't meet in Saudi Arabia, we meet some places in Africa, and we have a conversation, a solid conversation, that in 2 years, I'm working for you, that everywhere in Gambia will light up, even in Achar, in Badibu. For me or not, it's time to bring reality in Gambian politics. In 2 years, Dumbia will have 24-hour electricity system. I've already have this agreement with the people. Another surprising thing I will have, that I already have agreement with these people, is housing. Oh boy, the people. What is wrong with our system? That the poor have no place in this system. You have people now, call them the predatory loaning people system. You have, let's take an example here, where you have to get in an apartment, you have to pay 6 months ahead or 12 months ahead. Many of our people cannot afford this. When are we going to tackle this? This is an economic issue that I intend to take. So I went back out there, I have an agreement with them. I'm going to build 4,000 affordable housing each year for Gambians. You vote for me or not, I'm here to develop the nation, and I'm not joking about it.
Over here, can you please tell us your party slogan? We're seeing that your party slogan is saying Dumbuya in power, women in power.
Yes.
Can you please tell us what concrete plans do you have to uplift the
masses of
current
the
situation
Gambian
of
people to greater economic prosperity? That's your question. Well, look behind me. I just don't preach. I just don't dance. I just do the solution, all right? This is why, with Gambian money, with their support or not, I went out foreign policy to secure affordable housing for the Gambian. I went out to secure 2-year Dumbuya will have Gambian light up 24-hour electricity. Wait, all right? Let me finish. I'll come back. Well, all right. Well, I'll come back to that. But the women issue is personal to me. Poverty. My mom worked in the rice field, waiting for my dad. 20 good years. My mother was young, grew old. My father studying out there. I am the victim of that. My mother died poor. Here I am today. So this is personal issue to me. Look at these women, single women. Husband died. The past administration have abused so many things. So I'm here for women. This is why in my administration, right now in my political party, 60% of them, women man this high important position, and I intend to carry that. Women in power, Dumbia in power, 50-50, equality in our government.
Press conference that Yusufa Dumbuya, leader of the leader of the Democratic Party (DP), had with members of the press. It was a very interesting one, and we still have some of the journalists running after him as he makes his way out of the IEC complex, accompanied by some of his supporters. Our very own Babu Cham was in the mix zone, asking questions and taking note of the responses made by Dr. Dumbuya, who talked about housing, talked about electricity supply, talked about jobs. I mean, a lot of other things. So Babu was in the mix zone. We will get Babu ready in a moment or so to tell us some of the main talking points from the question and answer session between Dumbuya and members of the media here. Well, it is the end of what has been a very fruitful week for Gambian voters, Gambian aspirants, presidential aspirants for that matter. We have come to the end of the nomination process. The number of candidates that we are scheduled to take part to present their nomination papers have done so, and we will be sending back transmission back to mile 7 and to MDI roadway any moment from now. But before we do that, we'll talk to Babu Cham, who was at the mix zone where the press conference took place a moment ago. Babu, once again, Yusufa Dumbuya is leader of the Democratic Party. He presented his nomination papers to the IEC. We know some of the documents are not in yet, and he promised to bring them. But shortly after that, he spoke to some of you, members of the press, that were at the mix zone. What specifically did he say?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yusufa Dumbuya is the last candidate to be nominated today, and also the last to be nominated for the 2021 presidential aspirant. Now, he said he wants to focus on the economy. The economy is an issue here. He said the state of our economy is a problem. So he has to address the economy and also the healthcare and the employment issue in the Gambia. He said it's not take the Gambia for 53 years. It's not take somebody 53 years to develop the Gambia. Looking at the size of the Gambia and the population of 1 million, he said it's not take 53 years for one to develop the Gambia. He said he has to address also corruption issue which he lamented. He said, he has to work on a system to address the corruption issue in the country, and of course a system change, a total system change by helping the poor, the Gambian people, and the economic situation of the country. I said that the structures in the country, the governance structures are all ineffective. So he has to put in a better structure to address corruption, to take corruption out of the country. Also, how to get rid of corruption, how to eliminate corruption is by giving people good pay, by paying civil servants good money. So that means is another way of eradicating corruption in the country. On dual citizenship, he just maneuver around, and he didn't tell us much on his dual citizenship. He said it's time to bring reality in the country, and when elected into office, within 2 years, is going to address the electricity problem in the country and bring 24-hour electricity supply. He also talked on this housing problem by helping the poor. Housing also within 1 year, every year, he's going to build 4,000 houses, affordable houses for Gambians.
All right, Babu, I want to thank you so very much. You have been giving us comprehensive updates from the question and answer between some of these aspirants and the members of the media. So briefly, we will be handing over transmission back to mile 7 and at MDI Road any moment from now. But before we do that, allow my co-commentators to finally wrap up so we could just leave this place any moment from now.
Abarakabake la Isa walemu Yusufa Dumbuya mo laban wol nen kiwa talal bota kacala munara kum faro ke nomination o kolla kabrim mundar na kabrim sibit tambila bitum ka kol fotron ala de kol mon fotron ka da dron ba waro tije Mr. Yusuf Dumbaya nyinen ka at la ñaat li ñaabe mu ne be kala la suulote ning ay palaso ñin sur mun ke representer yade ko fanko mu kulte mu yala ku bata banko fanko jara kendeya do ko banko dun kolla ako fana mu kulte mu yala non ka ku mala ako ñin karo mun de wala mu sanita lul len saba gambe bira fansoro aduna mo ha hir ko mbija mo million killing wili ke mo rawla hanin ka be irwa mansoro no ko mun be kering woto wala mu kulte mu yala ka ta banyatal na kaje ko kola yala mu yo ko wulu ka o kola yala jube anen ka kaje ko yara akota plani jenko abo kul fanan kella le kende ke bawole naso sabu akodo we munyin ka wolen ka kul kenya fom be falen wolen system change ka kul halo falen ako bitum abe kul fanan itan lam sonen lam ko bun kolan kulu ako ning atakanyata janin sanji fula gambe bese koran soto ako mu kultu mu yala ko mara ni mol fan ka chartele fan mu yalla ko yo kul ferele landi o ko fere landi babul mu yalla so keno mo fana ako sawo sang asa bunke wili nan lo no le mu yalla ko da se soneya nyen kamala bunko bawo ne loi so jube say mul kam nyin ka wolen kare woro wande sanyi mu me advance ako mu ko la ko balti mo jama kam mu yalla ka kul kulata ako jararam mun de wolen ka bullo nyala ka bonlo lo mo ya da soneya nyin kamala dimbati ol sisarno bon kono ako fenda ya fana anen kam sul dema ako mu kulti mo la ko mala man sakunda kono ka hanala en campagne fan ko fa nen ke mon place ol buje taworo be musul marala kara jira kulta ba man la abama fara foire ala kono ate mum molde mu yalon ko o mira soto ay barafa soto musole ko don nen sinen sama nyin place o nyin soto musul la ko be ko kuma balte ako danaka ba jere le ko musol nin kele kanyan kuto 50-50 pour kaje ko do ko nyin anem banko la nyarta e kanyan je nyaabe nyaaba
okay mite kati alhaji bakari fati bo kanale ko ne professor Yusuf Dumbia na sense wana wala IEC kunifana koli na sanken de kuchika ko be seni waju koy wanu manju wona mangombero ko dede kurima kuchila buro de tungola ringen utade bar man bijiri ben jiati e ko jimdi ma famole la woto be ja tuni manju yonu ngarlo wumi dede bare le tu jaw usafo to kuro kololi kanu manjum kabirin kunifana director general be analim ko buro man manjum na sof tate mamburo ka bubungole bujo focule ku technicien na koleli kamiri ka panaketi camera radio di television ku technicien ko de salu ku pa kenak iku driver ka ama matanu jumul ko de sali famfam manukanu man nomination uyu kurima ku jak nu jawdi burun woto wate kariben wonom IEC janding kajam ne mankuragum professor eno angaru wayta wan manju wona ngarlotum jaata janding kuwalo bare kajom no kote ke rinyen wayta o burom bukana ko dikujike kuroka ke IEC dikulang kujike lanken manti ama abilum tate manangaru wayta wala mante useset dikubi kupuren kurima manku yisken bukana burom manku man ame acila ringen fujuma fola ka ringen tu fujuma foli kanya ko be landi pati ken manku kan coalition rinor no dikuchila bare udu dodu bajum di fanka fe IEC loku yokon buroka burom bujojo di burung tonton de bismillah bambandi alhamdulillah rabbil alamin woto beni kene mite mangja no salu salja TS campagne funa ka feti baleba wano sani wanji mango rek panji jam panji jok Yusufa
baraka jërëjëf Sale Emire kati mbokki jeexna fu mu nekk ni nomination yi candidate yi wara isi sen kayit mujjenteli candidate bu indi kayitam mooy professeur Youssoufa Doumbouya waaye nag IEC xamal nañ ko ban tour law bëgg a jàpp ci mbirum jamonoy sandi carte gi xamal nañ ko nag léegi fu mu nekk ni tour Youssoufa Doumbouya la mooy jàpp ci nag ñu ngi ko ñaax nag mu fexe rek kayit yoo xam ne moo des boo xam ne patio moo war a bind ne ñoom nag ñoo koy dépense pour mu war a taxaw ci sandi carte buy ñëw nii le mu fexe rek indi ko ak yeneen i kayit yoo xam ne ñoo des ci ginnaaw indi ko bara ñeenti waxtu yi bu jeexee nag loolu bu ko indee samedi gi nag di ëllëg bu ko defee mu am loo xam ne mooy askan yi dañoo ñëw càmbar seggantal kayit yi bu ko defee ñu xam yan candidate ñoo war a gën si bokk ci sandi carte buy ñëw kon nag fu mu nekk ni le jeex na takk fii ci IEC di sant ñëpp ñoo xam ne nag ñoo nekk ci télévision bi ak ci radio bi drivers yi techniciens yi ñëpp ak koo xam ne moo nekk di direct fii programmes bi fii nii ca IEC ñi ngi sant ñëpp di leen gërëm seen taxawaay door na ci bisimilahi rahmaani rahim jeex na ci alhamdulilah rabil alamin kon nag ñu dugg ci campagne bi ci bisimilahi rahmaani rahim ñu gën ci alhamdulilah rabil alamin boo leen ci bëggee xam lu leen gën a leer rek topp leen GRTS lépp ci campagne bi ak ci mbirum jamonoy sandi carte ngeen topp GRTS nekkal leen seen bunt benn kër gu mag gi nga xam ne moo liy juy njaat mooy njaat kon nag jërëjëf.
Jërëjëf Alhaji Yusufa Bojang marin coni ko wada xanne mu kano jowe kamatan xomi fi gani sasa xibaru mu moncu waga ñime gelli sibiri dangi na la taxu lenki juma kiya ser lagare bi xagari kengani professeur Dumbuya aga grede sasa kundu mais yerra bi tagilli IC Independent Electoral Commission aku ikornda ngume Alhaji Ali Mamadou Ndiaye ada muramaga kudo khomi serebe gancira parti ke sorogono na depanti ana ken kayti khariti yerro megen nagato khomi golinganu ngo yankana fakati be aken kama ko wona la nuwari ona la tiga ona la kuva ona la jaki oga den takine jakinde be khempanga samna fiki ga ko oda joppa ora no bismillahir rahmanir rahim sasa khibarum paganye me oda la nuwari oda la tiga aken kama ko fibe ga kundunga ona sega ga danganere ona golnyanganu mu manchu khanu wari na fara bageli director general GRTS na nyankama wuredunga wisu nuwarni wisu tiga na wisu mama na mama su khafatama kendo jamani ke dun kono mu manchu seri su garoti fube hay walla nyagana malla sa ogati ken katta ke wote be hay wote ko gonte ke be kaga jamani tagatana walla nyagana alla bana na gondo alla kallanka gondo alla fonnan cirago malla sa finu mu manchu wana nya khairu nogo na ndangi khairu nogo jamani kama ona mikro nyilande kata Alhaji Isa, bismillah.
Thank you very much, gentlemen and Lady Sally. We want to thank you so very much for accompanying us through this entire process. It has been quite very eventful, a successful one. We also want to thank Babu Cham, our team of technicians, both from the radio and television. We want to say thank you very much. We wouldn't be able to call everyone's name because it's fast approaching 2 p.m. time for Jumu'ah prayers. But before that, we have the head of security. You have been doing a phenomenal job throughout the electoral process, the nomination process. To begin with, I want to ask you, what do you make of the entire nomination process in terms of security?
Thank you very much for this question. First of all, I would like to say that I am the head of the security in the Kanifing region, Commissioner Omar Dabo, responsible for all the security in Kanifing region. With your question, we thank God and we thank everybody, and this is why I am here to talk to the Gambian people, and we are telling all those aspirants that have come here and all the political parties with their supporters. We are thanking them all during this process of nomination, and above all, we are thanking the media fraternity as well. And all our security officers that were present on the ground, because Gambia is for all of us. And the fact that Gambia is for all of us, we thank all these people for making our job very easy. They have behaved with us and they have accepted what is being said, that the security should take the lead, and we took the lead. We did everything that IEC saw, that they were very, very happy with all the security arrangements on the ground. That is why I am here today to thank all the political aspirants, to thank all Gambians, that have come in here and left, that they make our job very easy. We have a security strategy, and we are able to put it on the ground, and it worked well. And now that it is during the nominations, we are thinking of extending it through the time of the campaign period and until leading to elections. So I'm more than happy on behalf of the Inspector General of Police and his senior management that I should be media fraternity, the IEC, with the collaboration that we have enjoyed from the IEC to ensure that everything goes well during this time of nominations. I thank you very much.
All right, we want to thank you so very much as well for providing security and ensuring that the process was smooth sailing. We know crowd control, isn't an easy job.
Yeah.
It comes with its own challenges, despite the fact that tremendous success has been registered by your men and your other sister forces that have been working together to ensure there is security throughout. If there are areas that you will want to see improve, maybe from the electorate or from the supporters, is there anything that you will want to see improve leading to the nominations and election day in terms of security? Is there anything you want to see change?
Yes, thank you very much for this. All that we are going to do is, as I said before, we had a security strategy and we had a plan. We roll it on and it works on the ground. But there is, you cannot say that we are so much complacent. No, we must have seen one or two other places where we need to improve on. Maybe we had an error in those parts, then we will still go back to the debriefing and we looked at it from the first day up to the last day. What have we done and how did we come to the end of it, whether we have seen, and we'll decide as senior people, and then we will rectify if there are mistakes that we have occurred. Notwithstanding, we are listening to all the people that we have provided security for on the ground, so that they would also comment on, give a feedback, and this will help us a lot in what we decide here and after here towards the campaign time and the election proper.
Congratulations,
Thank
you have done a good job.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure everyone is proud of the security forces and the Red Cross as well. They have done a great job ensuring that there was peace, there was tranquility, there was security provided, and there was order. There was calm and order. Everything was orderly. The process has been done in a remarkable way, and the security have contributed immensely to that success. So we want to say thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are grateful that Red Cross also was with us, so we need to say thanks to them. They did wonderful job with us here. Thank you very much.
Special thanks to the Gambia Red Cross Society. We want to thank them so much. They were also here providing support to everyone being part of this process. We'll be speaking to Pamakan Khan. Pamakan is the communications officer of the Independent Electoral Commission. As to what is next, we have been talking about the public scrutiny, the campaign, as well as the election itself. But briefly, we will have Pamakan Khan, our program director, just informed us that they're making arrangements to get us Pamakan Khan to briefly talk to us about what is next for the Independent Electoral Commission now that the submission of nomination papers is done and dusted. But in the absence of that, I'm sure we want to say thank you very much, Sally, and the entire team.
Dubaja Pamakan, no la nyubene kuri makanu manjum ko kupoya karungi mitate ku police ka sanke meno babaj fuko munusala kupoya kabrin Gambia Police Force be Immigration Department de kuka ku kanumanjum ku junjum bete juk meti kabrin sibiti ya wujinya wawa wore no baju dede di kan di kaire ku police ku juma foli fu jaja fam ku popoy tate be jumeti a candidate bille ba aspirana bille di bukano kuno kenu dede kaire di ku pour wata ko aran ku baj dede di ku bajio bakana ke jay de leñu le yoli meti bur ngawbe kankam burum bomo ko banu manjum bakana ko jemi dit leñu bare do burum ku kankam fujuma foli bete juk meti jojo di kaire Gambia Red Cross Society po no manja manji fujuma foli di mofam na nana wujoja womba ko bajoe ku pure wu pur bar na nana po wi ko bajoe mofam ku pure wu pur oto kabri nomination o ye tongum Gambia Red Cross Society ko ko di karambe meti bala bu boli ni ken bakana ku kuloja bukote karambeni eno kanja po bukana kuringulo ringtate COVID-19 di kungolan ku chokor manku jike bukote kan eno mo bare fokumi kadi kunifana ke IEC manku regoli buroka boli bubu jow eno loku ngewi burom babaj fuko IEC munu jama furama foli nen munu jama eno furima feti ku police woto pa matar abil jabetate do pa makan abija betate rek punu ngole no mik da ci la po mana regoli IEC nyawa wati ka riben nomination o yan manju yo e tongo nya babaj fuko mamba kana ko ngalen ko manji mante kajam bayri talata no campagne waren meton nem manu manji meno woto dimase lefuna fef brok wan fim meti IEC nya tan ko minya bajudu ka mori bajudu ka yekulo funa ko panku rok bari sibite kajam yo ku yisenu meti panku pure wure saw kanu manjum bayta woli wu jonjon u jojo di burong panku yise meti buku ko luwa e senom burong manku nokem mo fameti Gambia burom ne manu rege meno kabrin katon be koyna manku miko di bukanak funa feti dizema kuna ku bakira kurinja na pu nokenom de kalemis tanu manjun to bakana ko waran kulleb punu tok kese yoli dina tala yoli bare anu manjum IEC ku purentu kare sakola mante be kayolo manala ko mante be kari bodi patiye ke nyaari no donde ko cila woto nyemo momu Yusufa mambu benen to wayi ko jandu bayani fana mo ate pour IEC mana beneno limi kami ka kanu manjum ko kon de ka baja ka tata GRTS
Sali jërëjëf Sali kon nag mbokki gis nañu kilifa goo xam ne moo giite ñoo xam ne nag ñooy saytu kaaraange gi ñoo doon saytu kaaraange gi fii ci IEC kilifa gi nag sant na gërëm ñëpp ñoo xam ne ñoo taxaw ak ñoom ci jamono joo xam ne door nañu nomination bi ba ñuy jeggali ko ni ki tey sant na nag ñëpp ñoo xam ne bokk nañ ci maanaam mbirum saytu kaaraange gi file kon nag nee na yëpp jaar na ci yoon te it naam bu dee am na loo xam ne nag naka jaar def am na yoo xam ne jaarut ci yoon dinañ jéem a seet